Shalom, Israel. Hallelujah. As it is written, our brother Paul, he wouldn't even talk to you unless you understood the law. We are going to put down as it is written what that really means and what the law is really teaching us when it comes to our master's word. So with that, we're going to go directly to our brother Paul, Romans chapter 7, verse 1. And it reads, Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth. Now, I could go into a long speech on what that is, but we're going to get directly to the law and what he's quoting so we can get good understanding what our brother is talking about. So we're going to skip down to verse number 7 in the same book, Romans chapter 7, verse 7, and it reads, What shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law, for I had not known lust except the law had said, Thou shalt not covet. So here our brother went directly to the law, quoting the law. So if you didn't understand the law, that's the reason why he's not even talking to you, or you wouldn't understand that it has dominion over you your whole life. Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. And it reads, Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Again, the law, Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 21, what our brother is quoting. And it reads, Neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou not covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. These words Yah spake unto all your assembly in the mount. So he spoke this for us to have understanding. Shaul, well, our brother Paul, is quoting it so we can have understanding that the law has dominion over us our whole life, and the covet, to understand what that means, you can only get it from the law. So we're going to look directly what David did. King David, when he looked at Bathsheba, he was coveting something that was his neighbor's. They lived close by. He coveted that woman so hard. First, he had sex with her. He sinned in that way. When she got pregnant, he wanted to pass the baby off from being hit to Uriah's. And then when Uriah wouldn't sleep with her, then he, because of his covetous heart and the nature that he had, he put that man in the front of the battle, told the other ones to withdraw from him, and then they killed that man because David had a covetous heart. Now, the sixth commandment, thou shalt not murder. See, when we look at these things, we would not understand what anything is without the law. Furthermore, the word virgin To give another example, the word virgin means to have without sex. And then if we go to our law in Deuteronomy 22, it tells you that the virgin can take her tokens of virginity shown to the elder, and that was proof that she was a virgin. Now, if we look at the Noah Webster Dictionary, that took place 1758 to 1843. The author of the readers and spelling the books that dominate the American market at the time spent decades of research in compiling his dictionaries. His first dictionary, a Competence Dictionary of the English Language, appeared in 1806. So, the Webster Dictionary cannot break down what a virgin is, because the virgin word meaning and the spirit of it was around way before that. So if you get a person that start giving you dialect on what a virgin is, and if it doesn't come from the law, then they're just talking with one with no understanding. Now, English is a West Germanic language that originated from Anglo-Frisian dialects brought to Britain in the mid-5th to 7th centuries AD by Germanic invaders and settlers from what is now northwest Germany, West Denmark, and the Netherlands. So England was speaking that language around 1066. So if someone came to you from there and wanted to give you what a virgin is by spirit or definition, again, they could only get it from the law, because the law existed way before then. How about modern Hebrew? Modern Hebrew, and again, that's what the majority of us speak. Ain't us going around speaking Paleo Hebrew. But the modern Hebrew started by Ben Yehuda. He wanted Jews in Palestine to speak Hebrew exclusively. Therefore, when his first son, Ben Zan Ben Yehuda, as more commonly known as Itamar Ben Evi, was born in 1882, Ben Yehuda made his first wife, Deborah, promise to raise the boy as the first all-Hebrew speaking child. So that happened around October 1881. And that's what we have our modern day Hebrew, with all the vowel points and dialects that came from that. Why do we look at that? Because A, E, I, O, U, the vowels that we speak, they're not the same vowels or pronunciation that you would take from South Africa or other countries that you have in the African continent that were long around before A, E, I, O, U. So why would you get so upset with the pronunciation of Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya, or from Yahweh, or Yahashua, or Yeshaya, or Yahawashah? See, none of these vowels were around. We have to relate on the Spirit, and the Spirit leads us into all truth. And that is the law that we're talking about. So, to know what a covenant is, you can only get that from the law. So when Paul is telling you that he wouldn't know what things are unless he knew the law, he couldn't even teach what sin is unless he knew the law. We don't know what an apple, or orange, a tree, an ocean, what a heaven is, what planets are, unless we know the law. Everything abides by this law. So that's the understanding that we have, and that's the understanding we get from our brother Shaul. Now we're going to look at some other scriptures where he's quoting us to look directly at the law for all our understanding. And for all those things you need to get yourself some understanding. Continuing with as it is written. We gotta find the Spirit. The law. Don't we know the law is spiritual? So we're gonna look at 1 Corinthians chapter 2, starting at verse 9. And it reads, "But as it is written, I have not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Elohim have prepared for them that love him. But Yah have revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searches all things, yea, the deep things of Yah." So that's our brother Shaul, our brother Paul, quoting, "As it is written." So let's go to another prophet, Isaiah chapter 64, verses 1 through 4. And it reads, "Oh, that thou wouldest rend the heavens, that thou wouldest come down, that the mountains might flow down at thy presence, as when the melting fire burneth. The fire caused the waters to boil, to make thy name known to thy adversaries, that the nations may tremble at thy presence. When thou didst tremble things which we looked not for, thou camest down. The mountains flowed down at thy presence. For since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither have the eye seen, O Elohim, beside thee, what have thou prepared for him that waiteth for him?" So if the Spirit is not leading you into all truth, if the Spirit ain't making you take the law first, see, the Most High told you that he pulled out for himself Gentiles in Amos chapter 9, verse 11. And you see that the disciples are quoting that in Acts 15. Then who are you to say all Israel is a Gentile? Who are you to say that Gentiles won't be saved? See, we only could rely on this word. We wouldn't even know what a Gentile is if the Most High wouldn't told you. No man or woman on this planet would not know what Israel is if the Most High would not have named Israel. If he haven't made you a Hebrew to cross over. We get caught up with the left and the right and stuck in the middle. We need to do what Paul is teaching. You would not know what anything was unless the law had taught it. The law is the word of the Most High. We have one mandate: to teach this kingdom. To teach this kingdom to every creature. That is your marching orders. To teach this gospel, the good news. If you can't do that, you can't obey the Most High. Keeping his commandments is how you show that you love him. So when people come out with all these different doctrines and rhetorics, you wouldn't know what nothing was unless the Most High didn't teach you. So why do you go to the left and to right all the time when you only need to rely on this word? It's okay that you can eat all sorts of things, that they'll go into the stomach, acid would come out to try to dissolve it. It'll go into the large intestines and then to the small intestines while they have the little finger-like projections trying to pull out nutrients of it. That's okay. But it may not be food. You don't know what food is unless the Most High told you what food is. So that's why you get death. That's why your temple is unclean. But what is good is food. See, you have free will. You have the law of liberty to put inside your body things that may not be food and think it's okay. But if you listen to what the Most High tells you, then we need to start going back to what he tells us what food is, what his dietary law is. Because again, tell me what person on this planet know what food is unless the Most High explain to you what food is. Now, we're going to get back into what is written.